evidence of aliens on Earth doesn't just come from crackpot conspiracy theorists or reruns of the X-Files. There are quite a few mysteries in our world that are so beyond explanation, the only reasonable conclusion is E.T. Here's a look at some signs that aliens have already visited Earth. A 200-pound pillow. On August 26, 1979, Minnesota Sheriff Val Johnson was driving a back road when he saw a mysterious light, which suddenly rushed at him and engulfed his car. He skidded into a ditch and lost consciousness. When he woke, he discovered that his watch had stopped for 14 minutes. He immediately called backup, but no sign of the mysterious light was ever found.
The light was coming at me. It was extremely bright. The inside of the car lit up, and it was a very dazzling, brilliant occurrence.
Now, it might have been written off as a crackpot story, but for one weird detail. Johnson actually had to be treated for mysterious burns around his eyes, much like welders get from being exposed to intense UV light, and the car was wrecked, with the windshield cracked and antennas bent from the impact of the mystery light. So, was it just ball lightning or something else? Curious investigators can head to Warren, Minnesota to find out, because the car is still there on display in a local museum. Betz Mystery Sphere. In 1974, a guy named Terry Betz found a mysterious metal sphere in the woods behind his house. Soon he discovered that the sphere vibrated differently due to weather, had a magnetic spot on it, and when you rolled it away, it would stop, turn, and come back to you. And if none of that was sufficiently spooky, it also made his dog whimper. Pretty weird, right? Well, the US Navy thought so too. They examined it and determined it wasn't dangerous. An engineer at the University of California, Berkeley, however, theorized that it might be made of an alien material, and if opened, maybe it could explode like a nuke. Great theory, guy. In a delightful twist, local workers later claimed the object was just a giant ball bearing from a nearby factory. But since the Betz sphere has since vanished, there's no way of knowing exactly what it was. The Vanishings. In 1953, at the height of Cold War tensions, a large radar contact mysteriously appeared over the Canadian-American border. Kinross Air Force Base in Michigan dispatched an F-89 Scorpion interceptor to investigate. The airplane was crewed by Felix Moncler and Robert Wilson, and the departure was the last time anybody would ever see them. Radar operators at Kinross saw Moncler's F-89 make contact, but then the plane vanished from radar. After search and rescue teams found nothing, the Air Force issued a statement that the mysterious object was a Canadian airplane that had drifted off course. However, the Canadian government repeatedly denied this. The Air Force later suggested that Moncler might have crashed into Lake Superior, but since the lake was totally frozen over, a giant hole in the ice caused by a crashing airplane should have been obvious to recovery teams. An eerily similar incident took place in Australia in 1978. Amateur pilot Frederick Valentish disappeared after radioing back to air control that he was being shadowed by some kind of flying object. His last words were, "It's not an aircraft." Like Moncler's F-89, Valentish's plane was never found, and while several theories have been put forward to try and explain the disappearance, no firm evidence has ever been found. Alien pipes of China. In China, there are caves with pipes that run into lake beds. Well, seems pretty normal, right? Well, except for two things. First, nobody has any idea how the pipes got there, and secondly, the pipes may date back as far as 150,000 years ago. Oh, and nobody lives anywhere close by, so there's also no apparent reason to have pipes there anyway. The Chinese government sent a team to investigate, and while they initially indicated aliens might be the cause, they eventually issued an official explanation dismissing it as a natural phenomenon. They're natural, alright. Naturally, aliens. Ancient aliens. Evidence of alien contact is hardly new. In fact, there are numerous clues scattered through the world and throughout history suggesting aliens have visited Earth before. For instance, in pre-Columbian America, a complex civilization called Kimbeya left behind some odd golden figurines that seem to depict modern fighter planes, complete with wings, tail, and fuselage. These models are so aerodynamically sound that a German research group built a scale model and discovered it could, in fact, fly.
I mean, this is sensational that pre-Columbian culture knew about aerodynamics.
Even stranger, similar figures from the same time period discovered in Egypt exhibit the same inexplicable knowledge of the principles of artificial flight. One explanation, and let's not kid ourselves, it's the only explanation, really, come on, is that alien astronauts visited those civilizations. And if that were the case though, you'd expect there to be some evidence, and there is of course. These Dogu figures from the ancient Japanese Jomon culture seem to depict spacemen wearing goggles, while the Ubaid people from Iraq produced a line of even stranger figures featuring what appeared to be lizard people.
Oh, not again.
And then there's the tomb of the Mayan king Pakal, which appears to depict him ascending to the heavens inside a Mayan-style rocket ship. And that's not even getting into all the depictions of UFOs in cave paintings on nearly every continent. Even more recent European artists include some very odd future tech, such as Bonaventura's Salambini, the glorification of the Eucharist, which, despite being painted in the year 1600, shows God and Jesus sitting next to a modern satellite that looks eerily like the Soviet satellite Sputnik. Aliens? Time travel? Time-traveling aliens? We don't know the answers yet. Thanks for watching. Click the grunge icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel, plus check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.